What, Myron? I look different today? What looks different about me? Oh, it's the lighting. Yeah, you lowered the lighting. Because before you had it up there, and then it's just on my big forehead. Now you... I don't know if it looks better. Do you? What do you think? It looks a little darker. Should I make it... Should I be more white? Let's see here. Maybe I should be more white. Is that hate speech? To be more white? Yeah. I definitely pass for white now. Now I'm Kamala Harris. Now I'm PineCreek, Kamala Harris. Isn't this so stupid? Unbelievably stupid. That skin shade makes one black. I guess and that it has to be it, because black is different than being African American. So when someone calls Kamala Harris black or Kamala, no, that sounds bad. Kamala, I'm going to say Kamala even if it's wrong. If it's just about skin shade, I mean, you could literally hold up a skin shade card and just say, okay, match it to the face. Yeah, you're now black. So stupid. Welcome if you're new here. I go live less and less, but maybe I should go live more. Maybe I should stop with the shorts. Like, I've been pumping out a lot of shorts, although I've been busy with work, so I've been doing less of the shorts too. But maybe I should just go live every day and see what happens. But I am busy, and going live takes a lot of work. So, but a couple weeks ago, I made this video, and it was taken down without warning from YouTube as hate speech. This is from the Olympics. This is two human beings, Homo sapiens, boxing. One Homo sapien is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. And I'll just play it, and you tell me if you think this is hateful.
Golpe de impacto.
Oh, that's loud.
Sí. Se vio claramente con el jab y otra vez la combinación ahí.
Maybe it's hate speech because it's in Spanish? Is that Spanish or Portuguese? Whatever. I mean, now that's hate speech if you're taking it down because it's in a different language.
En el upper, otro golpe.
Puños de Kelly no pudo contrarrestar lo rápido que desenfundaba tanto la izquierda como la derecha, y en la parte de este tercer episodio se estuvo comiendo en reiteradas ocasiones el jab y el recto.
Notice what I'm doing here, the links are in the description of this video. World Boxing Championship alleges that Khalif is the one in blue, has XY chromosome. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the World Boxing Championship is alleging this.
Y bueno, pues aquí
I'm reporting the news.
repasamos estos momentos de apremio para la mexicana, como observamos aquí que le estaban dejando el guante
Champions of this
en el
tournament.
botón y la de Golden Bell Series.
Aquí está por abandono, como ya les platicábamos desde la esquina, dijeron no más.
Que
Okay. Is this hate speech? Now, good news. I appealed this, and they brought it back up. But their algorithm or someone immediately just thought, oh, you can't say anything against intersex people or trans people or whatever. That makes them sad, and this is hate speech, and so we got to take it down. Okay, number one, I really don't know if this person in here blue is intersex or female or male, but according to the World Boxing, was it the International Boxing? The World Boxing Championship, and they had a news conference as well. They go by that they've done genetic testing, has XY chromosomes. Question is there a penis and testicles producing testosterone? And if so, can't produce small gametes because there's no penis, but can because there's testicles. That gets complicated, right? To me, this sounds like intersex, if all this is true. But here's my very simple solution to sports. That is, if you are a man meaning you have XY chromosomes, you have a penis, you have testicles. You go in men's sports, and if you're a woman, meaning you have a uterus, ovaries, XX chromosomes, produce large gametes, which are eggs, you go in women's sports. And if you're intersex, you default to men's sports. Full stop. Then what you do is you confidently and boldly proclaim, if anybody has a problem with that, they can go to their room and cry for 2 hours. It is okay. And I will be the first to admit that there's going to be very, very rare cases where this rule is horribly unfair. And that's okay. Because it's horribly unfair to maybe one person out of a billion, or million, let's say. No, yeah, maybe even billion, because you got to not only be intersex, but you got to be, want to do sports. It's okay if it's horribly unfair for a few. Because if you don't do it, it's horribly unfair for the many, or at least more. Because newsflash, I'll even use the word cis, even though it's a dog whistle. It's a left-wing dog whistle to call someone cis. The cis lives matter. And if we care about the feelings of the intersex and the trans, then we ought to care about the feelings of the cis. And there's more cis, way more cis people than intersex people or trans people. So if you're going to make that feelings argument about hurting people's feelings, then cis win. Hands down, cis win. I tell you, the whole queer community with the opening ceremonies and with this, this went to the gold medal, and I believe both participants in the gold medal round in this weight division were both intersex, I believe. At least that's what's alleged. If the queer community wants people to dislike them, they're doing a wonderful job. If the trans community, if their goal is to have the world dislike them, they're amazing at that. Because people around the world, they watch the opening ceremonies with a guy's testicles hanging out. They watch the boxing matches like this, and they're just shaking their head. Not to mention things like drag queen shows and wanting to talk about genderology to elementary school kids. I mean, this is a perfect way to peeve off parents around the world. Most parents. Of course, there's some wacko parents out there. Most of them are Hollywood women who support this. How's that for an intro? So, bad news is this is considered hate speech. Good news is it was brought back under appeal. I still had to take their course. And I mean, it's okay, according to YouTube, it's okay to say hateful things based on political party. So you can say Republicans are evil or Democrats are evil. They're evil, evil people. Terrible people. What's the new buzzword now? Weird. They're weird people. See, weird, when the Democrats call Republicans weird or Trump weird, that's a dog whistle. It's unbelievable the amount of dog whistling going on nowadays. But I am for hate speech. I'm for it. I think it's okay. Because it is a very slippery slope, in my opinion, on what's hate speech and what's not. For example, I don't think Allah's real. I think he's a fiction. I think Muhammad was, I think Muhammad was a front man, nothing more, and a very morally bankrupt person, probably, in the past. And he probably didn't have much to do with the creation of the Quran. Muslims will hear that right now, say that's very offensive what you just said. In fact, I would say Muhammad's no more important than me. In fact, I bet you, no, I'm not even going to bet. I know I'm better than Muhammad. You know what? I never owned slaves. He apparently did. Is that hate speech? YouTube? YouTube, are you listening? I am better than Muhammad. Is that hate speech? I'm better than Yahweh. I'm better than Jesus. You know why? Because I never drowned babies. Hate speech? Now, you can pick on Christians all you want, it seems like, in the United States, and it not being hate speech. I think if you're a trans woman, intersex, you have to do sports in the men's category, full stop. And if that makes the trans and intersex cry, so be it. Is that hate speech? I like the color blue. What if someone out there hears that and cries? What if a protective minority class hears me say I love the color blue and they hate the color blue and I make them cry? Hate speech? You see the danger in this? What if I said the earth is spherical about 1,000, 2,000 years ago, whenever Galileo was alive? What year was that? The earth is a sphere. No, the earth is a plate with a dome, and that's what the Bible says. You ought to be stoned. You ought to be burned at the stake, for this is blasphemy. Hate speech, hate speech, hate speech to say the earth is spherical. This is why free speech is so important. And this is why hate speech has to be allowed. Now, are there exceptions? Yes. And the typical exceptions is if you say something where there's a high degree of probability of imminent death or suffering or killing or whatever. But that is so, I think, pretty rare. Mudd says, this is just dumb, Doug. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because you reminded me that I should open up the room for people who disagree with me, because I love that. But please do not say anything that might cause me to have some type of mental anguish, because I will consider that hate speech. And I will tattle on you. I will tattle on you to the government and to YouTube. A lot of the left-wing stuff is tattletaling. You notice that? Okay, so anybody's welcome to come in and disagree with me. So I made a few shorts today. I have a... I had a nice picture here. Yeah. I don't know if this is true or not, but let's see who knows who this is. I think I know who this is. Let me bring up... anybody know who that is? And I want to put up another picture next to it. And I got a question for you guys. Which mugshot's better? Trump's mugshot or Tim Walz's, the VP pick of Harris? I don't know. One's in black and white, and I must admit, I have a soft spot for black and white pictures. Is that black and white? I see a little hinge of pink in there. Foreshadowing? I don't know. Although I see a tinge of pink in Trump as well, a tinge of orange. So I think I like Tim Walz's mugshot better. What do you guys think? Is this Tim Walz? There's no reliable source, Doug, of this, though. You can't say this is Tim Walz. That would be false misinformation. Misinformation should not be allowed on the internet because misinformation misleads people and is very, very bad. But what if it's true? What if what you deem as misinformation is actually true information? This is another thing. I think hate speech should be allowed, and I think misinformation ought to be allowed in social media and so forth. Why? Because what you think is misinformation actually might be true. Yeah, this Sneed McFeet says, Waltz. Sandy says, use your influence wisely. I am, Sandy. I'm using it very wisely right now. I'm speaking the truth. PineCreek, when can we expect a six-pack ab reveal? 50K subscribers? Now that's a good challenge. I like that, ya boy, Daniel. Yeah, Uber, I don't see color either. I just see bald or not bald. PineCreek, you're losing, unfortunately. What does that mean? What am I losing? You're talking about the politics? Okay, I got a confession to make. And I've said this before, even before Kamala was selected as the Democratic president pick, selected, not voted for. I've said that a part of me hopes the Democrats win in November. But Doug, this is crazy talk. Yeah, our world will come to an end. No, our nation's not going to come to an end if the Democrats win. I hope the Republicans win, but I truly believe that the poop's going to hit the fan fiscally in the next 4 years. And a part of me selfishly wants the Democrats to be blamed for it. But I think no matter who's voted in, whether Republican or Democrat, we're paying over $1 trillion per year in interest on our debt. We're borrowing money to pay the interest on borrowed money. This is the definition of a Ponzi scheme. The United States Federal Reserve, the United States fiscal system is currently a Ponzi scheme. Scheme. We're borrowing money to pay for the interest on borrowed money. That's true, what I just said. We pay more in interest on our debt than we pay on national defense now, which is going to make Raytheon upset and say, no, we need to increase our spending on national defense because how dare interest beat us? Uber Scheiser's getting a dopamine hit from this talk. Doug has figured out to make more money on YouTube, just rage farm. Does it look like I'm raging, or does it look like I'm having fun? Okay, I got to be serious. I got to pretend I'm a mentally anguished left-wing progressive, and in that way I can look racial. By the way, if you value the science says that Democrats tend to be more depressed and sad than Republicans. But then you could just say, if you are a Democrat, you can just say, well, ignorance is bliss. And we are the evolved ones. We have the knowledge in us because we can see the atrocities and the oppression of the protected class. It is so hard for us to be happy, to be joyful, when we are empathetic for the sufferings of others. That makes total sense. By the way, does anybody dispute that that's Tim Walz? Maybe it isn't. Kind of looks like him when he was younger, though. By the way, background on that. Apparently, I'm reminded of that little kid, that it went viral, the news program. He was at some type of fair or carnival. Apparently, this is the first time I went to the fair, and apparently, Tim Walz was driving something like 85 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone under the influence, or maybe it was a separate occasion. I don't know. Maybe he was pulled over twice. But I think this is what happened, according to the sheriff's department was in Missouri? I don't know. And got pulled over, and his excuse was he thought the policeman was chasing him, but didn't know it was the policeman, so there was like a bad man chasing him, so he had to speed. Like, what kind of life does Tim Walz lead as a younger person that he thinks people are after him and chasing him? That's a weird story. But he got slapped with a $200 fine and something else. But his blood alcohol blood level was at 0.12, I think, instead of 0.08 or less. And he was a teacher at the time. Teacher driving DUI. I mean, I thought the Democrat Party was the party of truth, and the Republicans are just the liars. I would love for Tim Walz to stand up and say, yeah, I had a DUI. Yep, I was never this rank in the Coast Guard or whatever. Coast Guard? Whatever he was. Apparently he wasn't the rank he said he was, and apparently he's never seen action in war, and he said that I carried a gun in war. And that's false. In fact, if you're a Republican and you're talking to a Democrat about this, try to make the word count low. Don't say much and ask for answers as true or false. True or false? Did Tim Walz say he was in war, that he carried a gun in war? True or false? And say, please don't say anything else than that. You can say lean true, lean false, or I don't know. Those are acceptable answers. But don't say, but 24 years of service, and I thank you for your service. I don't know why Republicans are bringing this up. No. Close your mouth on that. My question is, lean true, lean false. Did he say this? And is it true? That's all you have to do. The phone lines are open, but I forgot to pin it. I'll pin it now. And it's not a phone. It's, you know what it is. A link. There. You should see it now. Yeah, it's pinned now. Jefferson Spatch woke, must be crying now. Yeah, he's a poor guy who suffers from a disease of bloviation. and he's just every little thing he just nitpicks. I say the word cat. Well, does PineCreek Doug really know what a cat is? And I know where he's going with the word cat. He's going to talk about trans people and catness, and we relate this to what is a woman. What is a cat? Like, this is the type of arguer he is. He's just, if you are not in his tribe, he'll push back on every little thing you say. Right now, the Olympics is doing everything possible to shut down this topic. Yeah, Lazul. But I am glad it happened, because what I said earlier, the world now dislikes severely the trans community, the queer community. They dislike this movement of, we just got to accept and love. Let me be very, very clear on this. I am strongly against any type of government that needs to be your daddy. If you're someone who needs your president of the United States to be your mommy or your daddy failed you. If you need the president of the United States to look at you and say, you are loved, you are accepted, you matter, your parents failed you. If you need the government to say this to you so you feel good. It is not, in my opinion, it is not the role, not the job of the United States government, the President of the United States especially, to make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. And I made a short about Drew Barrymore interviewing Kamala Harris and said, we need Mommy Kamala. Mommy Kamala. I mean, to me, that's revolting. It's disgusting. To me, that's like smelling rotten milk in the fridge. You open the fridge door. Oh, you need the future president of the United States, if Kamala wins, to be your mommy, to give you hugs and kisses. What is wrong? How weak, as the Germans would say, how weak have we become? Too much gain? There. That's better. Thank you. Myron, rookie mistake again. I fired you twice. Don't make it 3 times. Why can't you do your job? See, this is proof that some people who make minimum wage are not worth minimum wage. That's another truth, the hard pill to swallow. And then, of course, we had President Biden, I don't know, a year back? No, I think it was less than a year back. On Pride Day, say, you are loved. To the trans community, you're loved, you're accepted. Hey, trans community, if you need the President of the United States to validate you, your daddy failed you, your mommy failed you. The weakness is flowing out of the pores of your body where you need this. Which reminds me of a new topic. What is better? To ask the world to be kinder to you, or for you to become stronger? I think it's now too quiet. Man, yeah, boy, Daniel, you're hard to please. I believe it's better for you to become stronger as a person than ask the world to be kinder to you. Because it's easier to control yourself than the world around you. So as JFK said, ask not the world to be kinder to you, but ask how you can become stronger. And a lot of people hate to hear this because it puts personal responsibility on them for their own feelings, how they take hateful words, hateful speech addressed to them. But you can get stronger. It happens with age. When you go through tough times in life, you do get stronger, mentally, emotionally, and physically, until a certain age, and then you get weak again. I want to play Vice President Tim Walz. You know, he's going to become vice president. They're going to win, right? If they win. This is one reason why I would not vote for the Democratic Party. Is because they're willing to put drugs into kids who think they're born in the wrong body.
We've been welcoming our neighbors back into their communities by making sure we're restoring voting rights to folks. We're making sure that our neighbors can drive to their kids' soccer games. We're making moves as we talk about the state budget simultaneously, making sure that when we've talked about One Minnesota, we mean every single person to feel valued, loved, seen, heard, and respected in the state of Minnesota. So today...
Yeah, see, to me, this is absolutely disgusting talk.
Valued, loved, seen, heard, and respected in the state.
For a government official to look at its constituents and tell them that the loved, accepted, valued, disgusting that a government needs to do that to its electorate to get votes. To me, that's more disgusting than saying, I'll buy you a cell phone if you vote for me.
Of Minnesota. So today, I am directing my state agencies to take action to protect and
it's choppy. It's not my
IA
fault.
plus community. We want every Minnesotan to grow up feeling safe, valued, protected, celebrated, and free to exist as their authentic versions of themselves.
The irony is so thick. Free to exist as their authentic selves. Well, their authentic selves, if you're a trans person, let's say you were born male, your authentic self is you are a male with a penis and testicles. That's your authentic self. And when you start removing those things and adding breast, that's not your authentic self. It's saying that you're not happy with yourself. You're not happy with your authentic self, and you need to go through conversion therapy. If you're a trans person and you're going through transition, you're going through conversion therapy. But instead of converting your mind, you're converting your body.
Protecting and supporting access to gender-affirming health care is essential to being a welcoming and supportive state to the community. We spoke this morning to a group of folks talking about homelessness.
Like, look at this young person here on the left. So sad.
amongst our neighbors and our relatives. And this idea of showing grace and kindness, showing those human attributes where every single person is valued.
You can show grace and kindness to people without shooting them up with drugs.
And here in Minnesota, what this is going to mean is we're also going to be good neighbors. Minnesota is going to provide and to receive gender-affirming health care services. And what that means is by outlawing gender-affirming health care, states across this country are working to prevent necessary evidence-based treatments. We know this urgency is real, thus
Evidence-based treatments. I call BS on that. I mean, and the thing is, when you do certain transition techniques like HRT or puberty blockers or definitely surgeries, will a person, after they go through that, a week or month later say, and be asked, do you feel better? And they say yes. This is what they consider as evidence-based treatment. They feel better. Not acknowledging that maybe a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, they might not. In fact, they might feel worse. But as long as you feel better for a time, it's almost like saying, I'm really horny right now. I need to have sex. I had sex. Now I feel better. Evidence-based treatment, having sex. It's basically that.
That's the need of an executive order today. Now, I want to be clear. I can't pretend to understand what goes through people's minds. I cannot imagine the stress that families and individuals go through. But here in Minnesota, we're going to be a place of refuge to make sure that they feel safe and welcome.
And
I don't know what a group of people in Pierre who decide to make life miserable and more dangerous for people are thinking, but it's not.
Pierre's in South Dakota for the people from Nebraska.
Not going to happen in Minnesota. So our neighbors.
So apparently the state government in South Dakota banned gender-affirming care. Minnesota saying, all you South Dakotans, all you trans people, come to our state because this is where you can truly feel safe, supported, loved like you've never been loved before. You're exactly right, boy Daniel. This is an example of a government treating its constituents like children, like little children. And some of them, to be fair, are little children.
What this means is we will direct our state agencies to have conversations with healthcare providers now to reaffirm that this will be there. We will make sure that we will have no cooperation with states who mean to punish or criminalize medically necessary evidence-based treatments. So I'm grateful.
Evidence-based treatments. Yeah, the CAS report came out and people in the trans community absolutely hate it because it questions a lot of what they think is the evidence. But again, the evidence is basically, we will make modifications to your body and then ask you, do you feel better? And if the answer is yes, science.
To stand alongside the folks that are here, our queer caucus who are leading this important work in the legislature, and call out, there's so many allies here, but I am going to make that you're doing to codify these into law, to make them stand up under any circumstances, and long after this administration is gone, these protections need to be there. So I will encourage the legislature, take the legislation.
You can't guarantee that.
That Rep. Finke and Senator May Quaid are doing, get that to our desk and let
any law that's made can be reversed.
Let us sign it into law as soon as
or at least not enforced.
Possibly can. As governor, I'm committed to doing in the office of governor and lieutenant governor of the state of Minnesota is there to make sure that your children and your families are protected, are respected, are able to make the choices so that you can live that very authentic life that is only truly yours. You have our commitment today.
Authentic life. It's the fact that they can't live an authentic life is why they do the gender-affirming care. They don't feel like that their authentic self is right.
executive order we're signing will reaffirm state law. It will refocus state agencies on that, and it will make sure that Minnesota's place as a welcoming, loving, neighborly state where you are welcome and will be free of persecution or anything else that we're trying to see in some other states.
That I agree with, free from persecution, as far as nobody should take a bat, a gun, a knife, and hurt a trans person or intersex person. Nobody ever should do that. But that is a totally different thing. I can say that on one hand and say on the other hand, no, leave kids alone. I think there's so much politics on this topic that you ought to say with confidence, if someone in the trans community says something like, well, then you just go against the science, Doug. You just look them straight in the eye and say, yes, I think your science is BS on this topic because it's so highly politicized. It's basically the mama bear, I just love and compassion. I just want to help them. They're just like so sad. It's that type of mentality versus the law and justice and protection of these kids that really don't know who they are. They're confused. And, well, the science says only 1% regret. No, I think that's BS. And it's people on, let's say, the political left who call themselves scientists say, this is true based on my talking to people. And then another scientist on the left, in quotes scientist, says, I'm going to cite this person who said after talking, that this is in my paper, I cite the talking person. And so now I'm going to do some talking. And then all this talking is now cited as science. You cannot demonstrate currently, the future can change, or the evidence can change. But currently you cannot demonstrate to any person outside yourself that you're trans. You cannot. Fact. True. If you lean left and you care about truth, I dare you to call in and disagree with that. If you're a trans person, can you demonstrate to me that you're trans? No. It's a self-ID thing. You can say stuff like, well, I like playing with, I was born a boy, but I'm a girl because I like playing with dolls and I like the color pink. There are some boys who like that and are not trans. So you can't even go to things like the way you dress and the social construct idea and the stereotypes because you'll find tons of exceptions. So you cannot scientifically demonstrate to anyone you're trans. There's not a test. There's not an MRI machine that can do that. This is not science. This is, at best you can say this is psychology, but coming from a chemistry background, yeah, psychology is a science, all right.
In this state, those things don't hold anything. In this state, hate has no home. In this state, love and acceptance is what we preach, and we will live by it.
See, he's talking about love, acceptance, hate has no home. Imagine we're talking about, instead of trans issues, we're talking about cancer. Imagine we're talking about cancer here. Would a politician or a doctor, whatever, talk about love, acceptance, and hate about stage 4 cancer? No. We talk about radiation, chemotherapy. We don't talk about love and acceptance. This is a disease I call feel sorry forism. Highly scientific disease. I've studied it for years. I have a machine in my closet. I can hook it up to you, and it will spit out your feel sorry forism metric scale. Finally, someone has the courage to call in. But they probably want to talk about God.
I do.
Yeah, because you're a Yahweh seeker.
Yes. I think I have some good news for you, Doug.
Oh, great. I love good news.
So I know you're currently not a Christian, but in the past, have you ever put your faith fully in Jesus Christ and not in your own works?
You know why I hate that question? I'm going to be very honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's if I say yes, you're going to say, well, was it really fully? You're going to ask for evidence that was fully.
No, I'm not going to, because I'm going to say you're eternally secure. If you say yes, then you're eternally sealed with the Holy Spirit, and you're saved.
And if I say,
you're just going to get,
and then if I say no,
rewards in heaven.
If I say no, then what would you say? That I was never.
Then I would say you were never saved.
And then I'm going to hell.
Well, there's still hope for you, but at this point, yes. If you died right now, yes.
Okay.
So, did you ever put your faith fully in Christ?
I would say at the time, yes.
Okay, that's awesome. You're saved then.
Yeah. Okay. I feel the need to push back on that from a Christian point of view, even not from an atheist point of view. Because doesn't 1 Corinthians 6 say that if you live a life of idolatry, you shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven?
Yeah. So there's a difference between inheriting the kingdom and entering the kingdom.
Okay, so you say I will enter but not inherit. If let's say I was a Christian, I professed Christianity, I truly did, fully did, but then became a porn star in Tampa, Florida. By the way,
okay.
Am I going to heaven?
Yeah, you'll still enter the kingdom. You'll just have less rewards.
Oh, okay.
And you won't. So yeah, to inherit the kingdom, that means you're going to sit in the judgment throne with Christ. And you'll be able to judge with him.
Okay, when you say less rewards, you mean like I'll go to heaven, but instead of beautiful, expensive tile in my mansion, I'm going to have purple shag carpet?
That might be part of it. I don't know the specifics, but you won't be in fellowship with Christ as much, whereas other people may be closer with him in heaven.
Okay. Well, I don't desire to go to heaven.
Well, I guess this is bad news then.
You're giving me bad news because I don't want to live forever.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about heaven is God will reconcile everything. All tears will be wiped away. So you'll
bad.
Get over this. Okay, well, that's the thing. You'll think it's good once you're in heaven. Everything will be.
Well, then it's not me. Then it's some a fake representation of me, because I honestly believe, I'm not just joking around here. I honestly believe that what gives me hope, meaning, and purpose in this life is having an obstacle and trying to overcome it. I actually have felt the most meaning in life. I agree with Jordan Peterson here, that through suffering.
Yeah, well, I agree. Long suffering can lead us closer to God, but that's not something to be strived for. That's not.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't like gratuitous suffering, but I mean, I'm talking about the type of suffering of you have a goal in life and you work really, really hard. Like I got my CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst charter, and it was really difficult to get. And I worked and I was stressed. It took me 4 years to do. Okay. Passed the first time every test, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Another one is I had 2 kids, and my wife and I, we cried and cried and cried because we were both infertile. We saved our money, we worked hard, and then we did the in vitro fertilization thing. We finally had 2 kids, and it was one of the most meaningful things in my life, if not the most. Okay. So, like these problems of being infertile that don't happen in heaven. These problems of studying for a test, I mean, and with possible failing and crying about it, doesn't happen in heaven. If heaven is just, there's going to be no tears and everything is going to be rosy and peachy, like who wants that? Not me.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Well, I mean, I would say that's probably demons talking.
Oh no, don't say that.
I would say it is.
You're saying that you're saying if I don't want to go to heaven, that there's a demon in me now?
Yeah.
Well, at least I appreciate your honesty.
I would say you're being influenced at least by demons.
Okay. Do you think I need Christianity? Besides, let's put eternal life on the shelf.
Yeah.
Here on planet Earth, do you think I need it?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't know.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, being Christian can be kind of shitty. So
yeah.
I mean, you're saved. So I mean, if
didn't Jesus call you to suffer for His sake?
Yeah, so if you that's what it comes down to. Like you'll have a higher spot in heaven if you do that for his sake. But if you don't desire that, then you're good.
Yeah, so right now I don't feel any need for it. But I do see other people, I think they need it.
Well, those people are trying to earn their way into heaven by their works, probably.
Well,
And they probably were told a false gospel.
faith without works is dead,
Well,
right?
no, that's a misunderstood verse.
What do you mean? What do you think it means?
I'd have to pull out my my commentary on this. I would.
Oh,
have
no
you heard
cheating.
Of a, well, no, I'm not. I'm not like a Bible expert, but like, so I'm part of the IFB movement. Or do you know what a Ruckmanite is?
No, what is?
KJV only.
Oh, you're one of those. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a dispensationalist. So basically, you have to rightly divide the Bible. So that verse in James 2 is talking to tribulation Jews during the tribulation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not talking about us during the dispensation of grace.
So what you're saying to me then, that you can fully commit your life to Christ, be a porn star, take penises off boys who think they're girls. You could live your life like that. Good, commit all the abortions you want, and still go to heaven.
Yeah, so eventually you're going to sit at the judgment seat of Christ, and he will likely reprimand you for all those bad things that you've done, but you're still going to enter the kingdom.
Okay, so heaven, even the worst form of heaven, is still pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is you can be the worst person on the planet, but as long as you truly commit your life to Christ, God's going to, slap you on the wrist and then give you a mansion with purple shade?
Yeah, that's why it's amazing grace.
Where's the justice in that?
I don't know. It's grace. Christ took the judgment for us.
Yeah, so there is no justice, is there?
Well, there is. Everything he took the ultimate punishment.
Yeah, but it's not just for Jesus to take my sins away. I mean, to pay my sins, that's not just. I should pay for it myself. What are you, a socialist?
I think that's perfectly fair if he wants to. I mean, that was his decision.
You sound like a socialist. Like that's something a socialist would say. You know, I don't want to pay for my steak. Let my neighbor pay for it. No, well, you have to work. You have to earn your money to buy your own steak. Why should I get Jesus to pay for my steak?
Well, no one can earn their way into heaven, so we need him.
Oh, you're a commie Christian. By the way, this line of reasoning is actually, for certain branches of Christianity, is very true, and it really causes cognitive dissonance in some Christians because what they understand what I'm saying is right, that it's true, that if Jesus paid the price for you, it is a bit like socialism. It's a bit like communism, where you are not responsible for your own actions. All you have to do is say a few magic words, or, sorry, I apologize. You commit yourself fully to Christ. You know, I'm being sarcastic a little bit, and then it's done. I mean, that's easy. That's
the good news. I know it's amazing. It amazes you too.
That's like the person who just wants to be a gamer, sit on his couch, and all he has to do is make that short walk down the street to apply for welfare, and then he can go back to his gaming. We don't want people like that in society, and we don't want Christians like your version in society, do we?
Well, we don't get to decide that. The Bible, you have to read the Bible as it says. You can't insert your own doctrine into there, so I'm a Bible believer, and that's what the Bible says.
Mm-hmm. But you do understand that people read the same book you read and are not the same version of Christianity you are, right?
Well, yeah, they're inserting their own works and traditions.
Right, so they're wrong and you're right.
Yeah. I would say so.
Isn't that a very... What makes you think that so many people, you're not a Catholic, right?
No, I'm a Baptist.
Do you think Catholics go to heaven?
I think there's a lot of Catholics who are bad Catholics. So I would say yes.
But the teachings, the doctrines, the teachings of the Catholic Church, do you think
if you're a good Catholic, no, you're hellbound for sure.
Yeah, if you actually follow the Catholicism, you're saying you're going to hell.
Yeah.
How did they get things so wrong?
Pride.
Okay, now what if the Catholic looks at you and said, it's the reason why you got things wrong is because of pride?
Well, I would show them where in the Bible they could prove me wrong, because they have none of their doctrine is biblical.
None
So
of
my
it?
ultimate authority comes from the King James Bible.
You do realize that you as a Protestant came around...
I'm not a Protestant.
Well, you're Reformed, aren't you?
No. I'm a fundamental Baptist. So independent fundamental Baptist. So
Yeah, you're under the
we come
Reformation.
from John the Baptist. No. We come from all the way from John the Baptist.
Do you believe you need a priest to intercede for you?
No.
No. Yeah, you're basically Reformed Baptist. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. The point I'm making is that your version of Christianity just came about 100 or 200 years before Mormonism.
No, we've been around since John the Baptist. That's what I'm saying.
I know you believe that, but it's the Roman Catholic Church was the first Christian denomination.
No, but the King James Bible says there's always been a faithful remnant. So there has to have been real Bible believers since the beginning.
Real Bible believers, and the Catholics are the fake ones. So, okay.
Right. Well, the Catholics don't even claim to follow the Bible.
Well, I'm curious. Does it say in the Bible that there should be 66 books in the Bible?
No, it doesn't say that.
How many books do you think should be in the Bible? Like, for example, do you think the book of James, the book of James is sometimes disputed by scholars that it shouldn't be in there, in the Bible?
Yeah, well, I take the King James Bible as divine intervention itself. So whatever was in there, that's what we know God wanted in there.
Why do you do that? Why do you take the King James Version as the inspired, true Bible?
That's the Bible that saved the most souls, and that's the one where you can get the most biblical truth out of.
So you go by the version that saves the most souls.
Well, it has the best manuscripts as well.
Really?
Yes. The Alexandrian manuscripts have been perverted from all the majority text, the NIV. Those are all demonic, atheist.
What do you mean by best?
Homosexual.
What do you mean by best manuscripts? Are they the oldest?
Just from the best sources.
So
The most reliable sources.
if a manuscript says X and an older manuscript that came prior to it says not X, which one are you going to go with?
I'll just go with whatever's in the King James. So there might be some
You just
inconsistency
blindly go with what's in the King James. Who taught you this?
Yes. No, that's my authority, is the King James Bible.
I know,
That's
but why did you choose that as your authority?
That's my presupposition.
Oh, okay. So you just did it because you presuppose it.
Yes, that's my final authority.
That's a get out of jail free card.
It definitely is.
Why did you choose to presuppose that and not some Latin version or the Greek Orthodox Bible or something like that?
All modern Bibles are. Have you heard of Gail Rippingler has a good book on this called the New Age Bible versions. She basically exposes how all of the modern Bibles are written by atheists, homosexuals, Bart Ehrman types that just want to disprove the Bible and say it's a pithy of manuscripts that don't really exist anymore, and we just need to piece it together as best we can, and all that bullshit.
You shouldn't say bullshit. I mean, this is a family show, okay? So
Sorry.
You say it, please whisper it, okay?
Okay.
Like this, I'm an atheist, but I have good Christian values, and I really don't want... so you're against the Apocrypha then?
Oh, okay, yes, then I know that's in the King James Bible.
Oh, good for you. I mean, Pine Points are extinct, but I want to give you 1,000 Pine Points for that, because you saw the trap coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you resolve this?
I don't know why they put it in there. I need to look into that. That's a good question.
You just said the original King James Version, you presuppose is the real version of the Bible, and the original King James Version had the Apocryphal in it. So let me ask you this. What is the real Bible? Is it 66 books or is it 73?
No, it's 66, but I mean, even in the original 1611 King James, it's labeled as Apocrypha. I don't know the exact definition, but I think that basically means like extra extra books. It sounds pretty optional.
Oh, so you
there.
view it like the maps in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't they label the New Testament as New Testament? You can't go by labeling.
So, I mean,
You
no,
got,
I
you
think
got
the
a
maps is
problem on your
perfect
hands.
analogy. The maps is a perfect analogy. It's like just irrelevant. It's like just like the forward of the King James, just as irrelevant. In the forward of the King James Bible, they say that this is expected to be edited, and this is not the final version. But we obviously know they were wrong on that, so we can't take. We just have to go based off the text.
Did your dad teach you this stuff, or?
No, this is common teaching in IFB churches,
Oh.
King James only.
But were your parents IBF?
No, they're atheist.
Oh, you got lucky. You got out of the atheism trap.
Yeah.
So this is the table of contents for the original King James version that came out in what, 1608 or something?
1611.
1611. Yeah, look at that. The books. What, God's word doesn't know how to spell books correctly?
No, well, that's old. Yeah, okay.
That's old. Yeah, God's word is old. Yeah, books of the Apocrypha. Here it is. This is God's word, right? So Maccabees is God's word?
No, I mean, you could read it, and it's obviously garbage. So you can, anyone who...
So some things in the Bible are garbage.
It's Apocrypha. It's not part of the Bible.
Look, I'm showing
Can
you.
you look up the Greek definition of Apocrypha? I think it literally means like...
No, but what's your name? Yahweh Seeker?
Yeah.
You use the word Bible, and you said the King James Bible you presuppose is the most correct divine Bible, and this most correct divine Bible in 1611 had the Maccabees in it, which you think is garbage. So you're admitting that the most perfect divine version of the Bible has garbage in it.
I guess so.
Thank you for your honesty.
I don't know. I mean, I need to research why that's in there. That's a good question.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to cause mental anguish in you and cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
But you'll be fine if you're feeling it right now. Go to your fridge. Go to your fridge, and if you have a beer, go ahead and drink it. Okay, and you'll feel a little bit better.
Okay.
Especially if it's Kirin. Japanese beer is great.
I like Sapporo better.
But don't drink in excess because that's a sin. And stay off the internet.
Well, Jesus paid for all my sins, so.
Oh, are you a
past
big drinker?
Future, and present. Sorry?
Are you a big drinker?
No, not really, but I would have no problem against it.
So you would have no problem drinking beer in excess to get drunk?
That's totally fine. I mean, it's a sin, but I mean, everyone sins. I sin every day.
I don't even do that. At least maybe once a decade. But so is it after you get off this call? Are you saying that as a true Christian, you could just go on porn sites and
yeah, you can. I mean, if you're not going to inherit the kingdom, but you'll.
Okay, I got to see how far you take this. Are you saying that after we're done talking, you can go out and rape a woman?
That would be horrible, but yes, I could.
I mean, and you'd still go to heaven?
Yes.
What if you don't ask for forgiveness after you rape?
Doesn't matter. Jesus paid for it.
He paid it for you, but not for me?
No, you believe. So yeah, I would say.
No, let's say okay, let's take it off me. Let's take it off an atheist. Like you said your dad's an atheist, right?
Well, my dad's a former Catholic, so I don't know if he's ever saved either. So
okay, imagine someone who never ever gave their life to Christ.
Yeah.
Did Jesus pay for their sins?
Nope.
So what makes a sin paid for is the acknowledgement of it being paid for and accepting of it.
Yes, it's a free gift.
It's a free gift. So the reason why you would go to heaven and that person not is because of what you've done, not what God has done.
I've accepted the free gift. I mean, he gave it to me. It's not at work.
Right, but he gave it available to everyone, right?
Yeah.
So that's constant. So
that was the
difference
work of God to allow me to take the yeah.
Whoa, hang on. See, now we're getting into some more cognitive dissonance. You're saying it's a work of God now? Did you accept the gift, or did God
I worked
do something in you
synergistically with
to...
God. No, it was a synergistic thing. We worked together.
You work together. Okay, so if it's synergistic, that means God could have worked in you, and you could say, "Get behind me, God. I don't care what you do. Get away from me." You could have said that.
Yes.
You can reject God.
Yes.
God could try to influence you, and you can say, You have that power.
Yes. I'm not a Calvinist. Yes.
Okay, you're not a Calvinist. So that brings me to this whole thing of grace, and you said you have freedom in Christ. You can freely choose and freely reject. So if that's true, then I applaud you, Yahweh Seeker, because you did an amazing thing if your worldview is correct, and I did a horrible thing. In fact, you ought to boast for what you've done. You accepted, and I rejected. Do you see what I'm getting at?
No, it's not a work though.
I'm not calling it a work because the
just
Bible says we can't call it a work. But let's be fair. The truth is, you did a wonderful thing by accepting the gift, and I did a horrible thing, or let's say the atheist who's never accepted did a horrible thing by rejecting it. I think that's praiseworthy. To make great choices is praiseworthy.
I don't think.
And to make bad choices is blameworthy.
I don't think it's very praiseworthy because, like we said, I can sin as much as I want, and I have a one-way ticket to heaven. So that's not very praiseworthy. That offends people. That offends atheists.
Well, I just think you end up contradicting some scripture.
Well,
Tell me, did you choose Christ or did Christ choose you? Do, 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 do.
I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
Depends what gospel
Whatever
you read.
I say, yeah, I'm going to contradict myself somehow. So.
Okay, I think I've beaten up on you enough, so I'm going to let you go.
All right. By the way, can you react to some more of the line of their trans calls? They're fucking hilarious. I love them.
Oh, you swore again. I mean, there's children.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, the atheist, the debauched, chicanerized atheist has to put the Christian in line here. What do you want me to respond to?
Like the line, the call-in show.
Oh, yeah. They hate
They're
me.
trans segments, the transgender segments.
Yeah, I called in
Those
once.
are my favorite.
Yeah.
I saw that. It was great.
Yeah, but I think if they were to ever allow me to talk, I mean, they'd be toast so quickly.
Dude, Doug, do you know one of them has it pronouns on that show? I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. You know what I would ask them if they would allow me? I would ask them, can you demonstrate scientifically to me and other people around you that you're trans? Or another question that they struggle with is, what makes you think you're trans and not just a crossdresser? Or a feminine male or a masculine female? These questions they hate.
Those are just transphobic questions.
Yeah, you're probably right. And it's actually, you know what we're doing now? We're conducting hate speech.
We're being bigots.
I mean, this is terrible. I better let you go before YouTube cuts me off.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
see ya. Asif.
Hello, how are you doing? My voice is coming to you.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm doing well, thanks.
I have one question about morality. Okay, I'm also not a religious person.
Okay.
So I have a question about morality. My question is that why should we be moral if there is no God? And like the things like if a wife is cheating on husband, okay? So on what criteria should we consider it wrong? Because it's not harming anyone. I just want to know, is it just intuition? And if intuition is the basis for morality, then why don't we believe in God?
Okay, great questions, especially the last one. The last one was a great question. The other questions are kind of easy. So you said you're not a believer, but you want to know how to answer questions like this?
Yep, I want to know how to answer questions like this.
What I would say is that whether you're a theist or atheist, your answer is basically the same. It's pain or pleasure. So why be moral without God? Well, the answer from the Christian or let's say theist point of view is because ultimately is because God said so. And if you say, so what to that answer, then they say, well, ultimately it's because God can punish you or reward you and through judgment. And that's the same answer that an atheist, a secular humanist would give, that why should one be moral? Well, because ultimately you're going to be punished by society or punished by yourself through your actions, through sickness or death. And if you live, let's say, a good, in quotes, moral life, depending on, people disagree on what's moral and what's not, but you can be rewarded with being healthier and being happier and more at peace. So it's the same, same answer.
No, isn't it all about just intuition, like some moral intuition, like cheating on husband is bad or cheating on wife is bad, or we need to look after children? Like these are the intuitions, right? There is no need or basis for these things. Like a human
Well, no,
beings
there's a basis for intuitions. We evolved with these intuitions, and so that's your basis. That's your justification for intuitions existing, is that we evolved to have these intuitions that not to let's say stomp on a baby's head after it's born, because if everybody did that, there would be no survival, right? So people who might have these intuitions, these bad false intuitions, they were selected out of the gene pool, either through self-death or the society saying, no, stop that, and they kill them. And so the people who behaved better with these better intuitions tend to survive better.
So for moral things, we don't ask like what's the evidence. We just rely on our intuition. That's it. But for the existence of God, when the religious people say that they believe in God because of intuition, then many atheists say that that won't be the basis for the belief in God. But I think that that's double standard, because if you are saying that intuition is the basis for morality, then in that case, intuition should also be the basis to believe in God.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think we evolved with these beliefs of deities in order to help us survive. So I would agree with you. Now, I think that there are people like myself who don't need it, who don't need a God watching them to do the right thing when nobody else is around. But for some people, they do need it. And to those people, I say, stay a theist. Don't be an atheist.
But you do right things because of your intuition, isn't it?
Yes.
And there is no
and I would also say rationality. Like, I don't want to go to jail forever for the rest of my life, so I don't kill people.
But that depends on the law of the land, isn't it?
Right.
We don't have.
Right. So I'd say it's both. Like, I have no desire to kill people, number one. But if I did, I think, like, if someone were to come to me and want to kill me, and if they have any rationality at all, I would say, am I worth you going to jail for the rest of your life? You're eventually going to be caught. Like, look, there's a camera up there. Like, you kill me, you're going to go to jail. Like, I'm not worth that. Why do you love me so much that you're willing to kill me? Like, this is how I would reason with a murderer. And if they have any rationality at all, and not just a complete insane person, it's convincing. I actually had a friend who was about to be beaten up one night, and he used this line of reasoning with the person, and they backed off. They said, "Yeah, you're right. You're worthless. You're a piece of trash." You're not worth me killing you or beating you up for. So I'm just going to leave you alone.
My question is that if a wife cheats on a husband, okay, on what basis would we say that it's wrong? Because according to harm principle, there is nothing wrong with that in cheating, isn't it? So then what's the criteria?
Sometimes there would be nothing wrong with it, but most of the time in societies there would be something wrong with it, because most people enter a contract and give each other a promise and vows not to do that. So if they do it, they have broken their promise. And that causes psychological harm and sometimes other types of harm because of it.
Let's say in the West, many liberals are
It sounds like we're just going in circles here. Are these answers you don't like?
No, I like those answers, and there's nothing wrong. But I have one question. Like, if you see the harm principle, isn't it? Then in the West, many children are taking puberty blockers, isn't it? So my question is that Is it moral that the children are taking puberty blockers from their own will? What would you consider? Is it right or wrong because they are taking puberty
I'd
blockers
say
from their?
I would say wrong because I think kids are often confused, especially in the teenage years and definitely younger, and they don't know what's best for them. They do not know what's best for them. And I was about to play before I started taking calls that clip with VP pick Walz and that other woman talking, and she said, "When children tell us who they are, we ought to believe them." That's a bunch of baloney. Like, no, kids say the stupidest things, think the stupidest things, do the stupidest things, even up to like 18 years old or even older. No, just because they say, they think, they believe certain things, and I think trans ideology is more of a belief than anything else and not based on anything factual. You ought not believe them. You can still help them. Like, if I was a teenager and I told you I was black,
No, I won't believe.
yeah, you ought not believe me. Based on the common definition of what black is, I'm this one of the, as pale as you can get.
Okay, then thanks for answering my question. It's a really pleasure to talk with you.
Okay, thanks for calling in, Mr. Tuck.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Is your first name Nip and your second name And?
No,
Nip and Tuck? No, okay.
no. Hey man, I was just wondering if you knew that not the last guy, but the guy before last.
The King James Version guy?
Yeah, he was trolling you for like 20 minutes nonstop.
I kind of
You know
suspected
right?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
fun anyhow. I don't mind trolling as long as it's fun.
Okay, as long as you knew what was going on.
Once he's-
'cause it was really obvious.
Well, once he said shit, and then once he said,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
then he said the F word. I'm going, I don't know too many King James Version only people talk like that, but
Well, when you hear a Christian say, I can reject God and I can sin whenever I want, then you need to be a little bit skeptical about
yeah.
whether they're being serious. Because I've never, like, you've heard like John Lee talk and people like that. You imagine John Lee saying that. You never hear him say it, ever.
But it's a
So-
good. I still went on with the conversation because there's still a chance he's genuine, but I doubt it. And plus, it's a good. There are genuine people like that out there who say these things, and so my questions, I think, are good questions for people to hear.
They say those. They won't say I can reject God whenever I want. They'll never say that.
Reject
Like,
God
who
whenever
is
you want?
what's a genuine Christian who's ever said, like, I'm saying you can't get these guys to ever say that because they know that it's contradictory. They're not going to say something that they know is contradictory.
That might be the one exception, though, because you're talking about the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. But I have talked to Christians who I deem as not trolling and sincere say that murder is not sin if you're a true Christian. That because a true Christian can't sin.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I mean, they believe these things. They're just not going to say it. That's my point.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was going to ask you why are you so focused on these trans issues? Like, it seems like every time I open the stream, you're talking about trans issues.
Well, because it's in the news, number one, and number two, I don't think I talk about trans issues. Do you think I talk about the majority of the time?
Not the majority of the time, but it's
What percentage
it's
of the time is
way
your guess?
more. I don't watch your stream all the time, but it seems like a 50% chance that I hop in the stream that you're going to be talking about trans issues.
Okay, I do
it's
2 to 3 hour streams, and I think it's similar to I see 11:11 on the clock a lot, but I forget the time. I forget the times when I don't see 11:11 and I look at the clock. It could be 12:34, and I go, oh. And I don't think of it. So for some reason, the real issue for you is why is trans issue stuck in your brain that you notice it with me?
Oh, so you're going to flip it around.
I'm going to flip it right back at you.
No, that's my point. Actually, is that I really don't think about it like ever. Okay. Like,
Okay, but
I
why does
never
it
think
bother?
about
Does it bother you that I talk about
It
it?
doesn't. Well, it bothers me that that you talk about it because I don't care about it, and you're constantly talking about it.
Well,
That's why it bothers
no,
me.
but you show that you do care by calling in and telling me what
Well,
you
I actually
you
called
could
in to
have.
tell you about the troll.
Okay, fair enough, but you cared enough to even bring it up after you did that, rather than just saying thank you and leaving. And
Well, yeah.
and you can every time I talk about trans, and if you don't care about it, go watch Olympic basketball.
Okay. I mean that I do most of the time. I click off. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But
I think here's my theory, and I'm not saying this for you, but for people who talk like this to me, they know I make sense on this issue. They know I change people's minds on this issue, and so this is why they want me to shut up.
Okay, hold on 1 second, dude. So, I've heard you have obviously many conversations about this, and I've heard people explain the liberal side of this to you many times. So I can only assume that you do actually understand
I do.
these people. You understand their position, so you actually understand that, like, that they think, not you. I know you disagree,
Right.
but they think that gender and sex are two different things.
I do too.
Okay. Well, that's not really. I haven't seen your recent debates. That's not what it seems like you said in the past. So if you thought, hold on a second. So
No. You have made the claim that 50% of the time you listen to my live streams, you hear me talk about trans, but it sounds like you're not even listening to me.
I don't, man. I don't, because it's boring. But like, let's.
Okay, then how? Then you should ask me my beliefs rather than tell me.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
So if gender and sex are two different things, well, what does that mean to you? Tell me what that means to you.
Okay, I view the gender in two different ways. One is a synonym for sex, and another way is the social construct that the trans community often talk about. So in other words, you can say he or boy to mean that they are biological male. I mean, that's very reasonable to say. It's also reasonable to say, to use the term boy or man in the sense of he's going into the forest to chop wood. What a manly thing to do. That's very reasonable to say too.
Yeah.
There's womanly things. There's manly things. You know, the nurturing of the holding of a baby, or the stern thing. These are masculine, feminine traits. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that there's a social construct version of gender, but I also think that when it comes to public policy, you go with the other definition as a synonym for sex. I've said, and Tuck, I have said this many times in the past.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it sounds like that you're not sticking with the definition that the liberals would say is the difference, because they wouldn't say what you just said, right? So you have a different understanding of the difference, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. So,
but what's
you
the
have
problem?
Like some different understanding. So I'm not sure. You have some like nuance, like I don't know, your own
nuanced. You don't.
Yeah, your own specific little definition.
You think my definition, the way I just explained it, is in the minority view?
When it comes to what we're talking about, the specific of what's the, like, if we're talking about the difference between gender and sex as they're described in like the sciences, then yeah, you're in the way minority. You're not even on the field, dude.
We were talking about the definition of let's say
you're
woman
just
or
talking
man.
about common parlance, and sure, dude, but that's not what we're talking about.
You know, you came in and you said, you know, that King James Version guy is a troll, right?
All right, so you think I'm a troll?
You're trolling me. You claim not to care about this issue, and now you're fighting against me on something you don't care about. Why?
Because I'm bored.
Wait a minute. You're so bored that you're willing to fight against me on something that you don't care about at all?
I didn't say I didn't care about it.
You know, the Olympics is on, right? Why do you always want to talk about trans issues, Tuck?
I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube more than TV.
Okay, there's lots of things to watch on YouTube right now. Why do you care about pushing back on trans issues than watching YouTube?
But you're changing the subject back to why do I care about this? What is this like meta crap? Can we just talk about the actual?
The real Tuck is coming out.
No, it's just like what is this like meta shifting? I don't understand.
Okay, what would you like to talk about now?
the actual like point that we were getting to, like what's the difference between gender and sex, right?
Yeah, and I
So,
explained
like what
it.
I'm trying to tell you is that, but you understand, so that's your definition, right? But
Yeah.
you understand that liberals and people who don't agree with you, they say
I
that
understand that,
they,
Tuck.
well, hold on. They say that gender is a
It's a
social,
social
construct,
construct,
in the sense that you can identify as a social construct at will.
Yes, yeah, I understand.
Right? So you understand that.
I understand that. Yep.
Okay, so you understand where they're coming from when they say
Yeah.
gender and sex are two different things, right?
Yeah.
But you also, so do you still hold to the definition that you think that there's a contradiction there?
I never said there was a contradiction. I said there
there's
was.
videos of you saying that there's contradiction. So don't say.
Well,
that
hang
you
on.
never said that.
What
I've watched videos where you've said that there's contradiction. I've been in the clubhouse where you've had discussions.
Contradiction of what?
Between, say, like trans people saying that they're that they believe they're a woman, but they're not actually a woman. You said there's a contradiction there, that they have a contradictory worldview. But you've just said that you
No, I said if
like that they don't understand it in your way. They
I said
that they can identify as a social construct.
I said that if they say that they have a uterus and they're a man, then
nobody thinks that, Doug. Nobody.
Did you hear the word? Did you hear the word "if" there?
Yeah, but who are you talking about?
I just talked to a person named Zoe. It's on my life. One of my
I
lives.
just saw you get trolled for 20 minutes straight, dude. So how do we know that they?
Tuck, I just talked to a person named Zoe, who is a biological male that you and I would both say is biological
How do we
male.
know they're not a troll, Doug?
Tuck, can I finish?
Okay.
I just talked to a person. Let's assume this person is genuine, okay, and sincere. I just talked to a person a couple weeks ago named Zoe, who was in that Discord that you're probably referring to, who was born biologically male, who said that he is a female.
Yeah.
Identifies.
That's not having a uterus, Doug.
Tuck. Now, you tell me, what if you're bastardizing the term female, which is a very biological term, would you agree? Male and female are not social constructs. Do you agree?
That's not what we're talking about.
Tuck, do you agree that male and female are not social constructs?
Are you talking about male as in biological?
Yes.
Okay, no, because we agree that there's a biological.
Okay,
sex,
good. So you and I are on the same page.
Gender.
So if a person says that they identify, listen to me closely, identify as a biological female when they're born biological male, would you say that's contradictory?
Yeah, but nobody.
There we go.
That, Doug. Nobody believes that, Doug. Who believes that?
Tuck.
No trans people.
Go listen to that.
Doug.
Go listen to that live stream.
Trans people believe that they identify as the social construct of woman. That's what they identify with. That's what they're talking about. They're not saying, I literally think I have a uterus in my body. That's not what they're saying, Doug.
Okay.
And this is what I'm trying to tell you is people have explained this to you dozens of times. I'm not the first person to explain this to you, and you just don't get it.
What don't I get?
You don't get about this.
What do you think I'm thinking or saying that I don't get?
You think that there's a contradiction there, but there's not, because they do not believe that they are the biological sex. Nobody fucking believes that. Sorry. Nobody effing believes that.
Well, listen to that conversation I had with Zoe.
All right. Well, you also got a Christian to admit that he can reject God whenever he wants.
You just made the claim.
To a troll for 20 minutes.
Tuck, you just made the claim that nobody said that. If I can provide evidence of one person saying that, would you say, okay, one person says
well,
that?
Let me retract the claim right now and say that 90% plus of trans people don't say that.
Okay, great. We made progress.
All right. Well, so you admit you're talking about less than 10% of trans people at best. I'm being really generous.
Sure, I'll give you whatever you want.
So why would you be talking about trans people in this general way when you're talking about 10% of them?
Do I talk about trans people in this general way?
Yeah, you do. You say trans people have contradictory. You don't say 10% of trans people have contradictory views.
I think you're wrong when you say
trans
that.
people have contradictory views. We could pull up the clip, Doug. It's
Pull-
on the internet.
Okay,
I mean,
pull
look,
it up.
I'll
Pull it
I'll
up.
come back in. I'll come back in like 10 minutes, but I gotta look for it.
Okay,
I don't know where
go
it is
look
right
for
now.
it and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
But like, I guarantee you that it's.
I guarantee you won't be back.
Anybody in the audience can look and see that he said that there's a contradiction there in the past. It's even on your channel.
A contradiction there, but you got to go to what exactly what was I talking about? So that's why I encourage you, go find the clip and come back.
So right now you're denying. Let's just get this on the record. You're saying that you never said that trans people had a contradictory worldview because they actually believe that they are the biological sex that they are identifying as. You never said that.
No, if they say that, I did say that if they're claiming to be the biological sex opposite of what they are.
Okay, but you've already agreed that that's less
we just
than 10%.
Talked about this.
But you've already agreed that that's less than 10%.
Right, but if you find a clip of me saying they have a contradictory worldview and I'm talking about this less than 10% thing, will you come back and apologize?
Okay, but yeah, sure. But if I find the clip and you just say trans people, yeah, and you don't qualify it with 10% because you never qualify it with 10% ever, right? Are you going to apologize and say that you were overgeneralizing and talking about a small section of the population?
Yeah, but we got to take it in context, right? Because that's what reasonable people do. So if a few sentences prior to that we're talking about this biological term contradictory, then you would say, yeah, that's in context. This is what Doug was talking about. You'll come back and say, I'm sorry, Doug.
Okay. I don't know why you're denying this, dude. You've had hours-long conversations.
What do you think? What do you think I'm denying? I'm not. You agreed with me that if I was talking about that 10% or less, then I'm not denying it, and it's true.
Here's what you're denying. You're denying that you talked in a generalizing way about all trans people when you really were just talking about a tiny percentage of them. Right?
Okay, go find the clip where I generalized over all people.
Right?
No, wrong.
Is that correct?
Wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
That's your position that you've never said that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
As a general sense, correct. You're wrong. Go find it.
Okay. All right. I'll go find it. I'll come back in like 10 minutes. Man.
I bet money that you won't be back.
All right. How much money do you want to bet, dude?
Well, now you're if I
See, dude,
if I bet you $100 that you won't be back, you're going to come back just to win the $100.
So you're going to put it on me. You're going to put it on me when I just stepped up.
You are a troll.
Doug, words come out of your mouth and they don't make sense. You don't listen to what
you are a troll.
It's all recorded. Everybody sees
I don't care about trans issues. Now you're willing to do the work to find a link or a clip of me.
Yeah, because it's going to take me like 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Go, leave, go, and come back in 5, or I'll give you 10. Go.
Yeah, we'll do 10. We agreed on 10.
Go, get it.
Okay. All right, man. I'll go take a look.
Thank you for the donation, Elijah Infante. $20. Thanks for the generous donation. Thanks for the financial advice from your past live stream. For example, investing, S&P 500, car payment advice, etc. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I just bought a Nissan Kicks, a very small SUV, but it's getting like 40 miles to the gallon in town. It's amazing. And it was a couple years old. What did I pay for it? $18,900 or something. So you should not be spending more than 20% of your gross income on a vehicle. And when you buy a vehicle, you should pay cash for depreciating assets. If you can't afford to pay cash, then definitely get the lowest interest rate. I mean, try to find those, basically 0% financing. And buy a cheaper vehicle. Just have people look at you and say, you're driving that piece of crap? Be proud of that. There's so many people who make only $50,000 a year and they're driving $30,000 vehicles. No, you need to stop that. Is YouTube hiding my comments or am I tripping? I can see your comment, but YouTube is very finicky, both in the live stream chat and in comments. If you say the wrong things, if it's considered hate speech, it might just remove it. I don't know. Okay, I got to set the timer. He said he'd be back in 10 minutes. 12:26. I mean, this is so ridiculous to me. Doug, why do you always talk about trans issues? Half the time I click on your stream, you're talking about trans issues. I don't care about trans issues. You said this, and you said this, and I can find a link. Oh, he's pretty passionate for a guy who doesn't care. Doug, YouTube removed my comment when I mentioned the alphabet community. Oh, that makes sense. They're a protected class. The alphabet community are like the bald eagle or any other species of animal that's almost extinct. So you got to feed them, you got to nurture them, you got to clothe them, you got to love them and accept them so they can thrive. Even though they tend not to reproduce that much, they might go extinct. So this is why they're a protected class. This is why I hate even the idea of protected classes, especially in the year 2024, is because you are basically saying treat certain people like babies. It's like we gotta put talc powder on their bottom so they don't get a rash. We gotta make sure that everything's fine and all the conditions are perfect so they can survive. I have never clicked on a PineCreek stream where you aren't talking about trans people, says Devin Hoven. Yeah, this really bothers people because they know I change people's minds. They know what I say is correct. And it bothers them. They want me to be silent so much. And Dennis, I honestly believe, like, let me bring up my live streams here. I haven't done live streams. It's like, when was my last live stream? Today's August 10th. I did a live stream on August 1st. It's been 10 days since I did a live stream. And then the live stream I did last time is called Theist Thursday, reviewing my interaction with Precept Calvinist Christian. That was the live stream about Matt Slick. 3 hours, 32 minutes long. And then a guy named Chris came on, some other people came on. Let me look up the transcript. Did we mention the word trans? Maybe, and if so, who brought it up? One of my guests or me? Translation, transfer, trans ideology. Yeah, it was brought up on 1 hour 55. Yeah, and it was a guest who brought it up, not me. I can't control that. The guest's name was, he was a good-looking guy. I forget his name. Kevin. Kevin brought it up. And hang on one sec. I'll let you in shortly. Now, what was the live stream before that? Call in either Christian conservatives or mentally unstable progressives. Oh, what a title. That was 2 weeks ago. So I'm averaging like a stream a week now at best.
Hey, how you doing, Doug?
Good. I know you.
I did a little name change this time. Did you notice?
DMF, Doug's moderate friend. You went from Doug's liberal friend to Doug's moderate friend.
Well, yeah, because I really like J.D. Vance and Trump. You know, I've been reading more about them. J.D. Vance, I got to give him credit. He called Trump Hitler. That's awesome. He said he believed Trump's accusers. That's awesome. Trump, you know, really supported. You look at Walz. He supported what he was doing up there with the riots. He said he did a great job. So I think I'm going more towards the Trump side. Your thoughts?
Good for you.
Thank you. Well, anyways, serious stuff. What would you like to know? We haven't talked in a while.
What percentage of the time? Like, did you hear the previous caller?
No, I just got here and
okay. Then we won't
I'm
talk
out of the
about
loop.
Okay, but
did I miss something really good?
Yeah, you missed something really good.
Well, what is there a question like what percent of the time?
He asked me why I always talk about trans issues, and then
I'd give you 20%. It's one of the
20 that high?
I don't know, 10 to 20.
I would say like maybe 5%. Like I do 2-3 hour live streams, and I can't imagine I'm talking about trans issues for 20. What's 20% of 3 hours? And I don't.
Remember, I'm not the math person.
180. That's 36 minutes worth. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think so, but
Yeah, I think maybe you have shows where it's more prominent, and then you have shows where it just doesn't come up.
yeah.
So maybe you tuned into a show where it didn't come up. But you know, lots happened, and I do say this as whatever I stand position-wise. Anyone who's supporting or wishes ill upon their political opponents, what happened with Trump is totally uncalled for, like horrific, and we do not need that in our politics. And you know what I'm probably speaking about.
Yeah, I know what you're speaking about, the assassination attempt, but what if you had a crystal ball and you saw that Trump will become the next Hitler? Then wasn't the attempt on his life noble?
You know what? I'm one of those people who's like, you talk about baby Hitler. I don't know if we should go back and do that in time. Like, I'm one of those people who's like, I don't know if we should go back and get baby Hitler.
Yeah, it's a hypothetical that, you know, nobody can see the future, but
Yeah.
like I would think so. Like I'm willing to entertain the hypothetical. So if I knew with 100% certainty that if Trump became president, he would kill 20 million people in the United States, innocent people, then I would say maybe.
Why am I taking the side against you, Doug? Because
The guy who Tuck is back. Maybe I should make the room bigger. You can stay here
okay.
with.
Sure. Well, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, let's make this a threesome. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I just want to
Hang on, you'll come right back. You'll come right back.
Got it.
Okay, Tuck's back, and I got my liberal friend who's now a moderate. Tuck is here. He called while you were gone. So what did you find?
Okay. I did find a clip, but I don't know how to give it to you.
Put it in the live stream
download
chat.
It's a link. So you want me to
No, not the live stream chat. The chat there's a chat box right here in Whereby.
Can I say something real quick, Doug?
Yeah.
So I just think we're going towards Minority Report sorts of territory where we say we should do this for a future thing that could happen. You know, if we were God, it'd be different, but unfortunately, none of us are.
Yeah, well, it's a hypothetical. Like some hypotheticals can happen, some hypotheticals I don't believe can, and the fact that I don't think we'll have time travel ever. Because I think it's contradictory, and I don't think we'll ever see the future. So,
yeah, true.
But if this is something Dennis Prager brought up when he was talking to Pac-Man, or was it Destiny?
He talked to both of them at one time.
Yeah, or was it somebody else? But he said, "Hey, look, if people truly believe." Tuck, are you putting it in this chat right here?
Yeah, I gotta get I downloaded it, so I gotta get this.
You downloaded it? Oh, you got it from Tom Rabbit, I bet.
No. I just like screen capped it and then downloaded it. But no, I think Tom Rabbit. We're gonna talk about that because I think Tom Rabbit's got the full one, but he didn't upload it.
And what is
Tom Rabbit? Tom Rabbit admitted to me, Tuck, that in context, we were actually talking about whether trans people were delusional, and he admitted that if a biological male says he's a biological female, that is delusional.
Do you have a clip for that?
Yeah, but I'm not going to bring it up.
Wait.
Because it's
of course he said that. Wait a second.
It would take me
Doug.
half an hour to get it.
Yeah. You don't need to think about this for a second, Doug. Of course he said that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you too.
I don't understand what you don't get about this. Of course, if you were a biological male who believed they were a biological female, then you would be delusional. But nobody believes that. Or
Nobody?
At most, I've granted you 10%. I would.
Okay, so I'm talking about the 10%, Tuck.
Okay. Again, but that's my whole point.
Give me the link already.
You were talking about 10% when you should have been talking about 10% when you were actually generalizing to everyone. Okay.
Okay, so bring me the link where I'm generalizing about everybody.
All right, with this link, it's referencing the first conversation that you remember the first time you went in there and you talked about this in Clubhouse. I was there, not under this name, but under a different name.
Under what name were you
and
there?
It was like multiple. I'm not gonna tell you. It was like for multiple hours.
Why?
Okay. Why would I tell you that? It was there for like multiple.
Because maybe I'll recognize you, and we can have better rapport.
You've never spoken to me. I just sit there and like I don't say anything.
Okay.
Okay. There's the link.
Okay.
So they're referencing, you and Jack are referencing a previous conversation you had, which I think Tom probably has. If we really wanted to dig this up. Okay. And he says the key moment here is after you correct Jack, you say, no, I was saying that they were women or men, but they were talking about being male or female. Okay.
Yeah.
That was your correction. So you agree. So this statement of you saying says that you agree that men or women, if they have the belief that they're male or female and they're not male or female, then they're delusional, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Biologically, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So I win?
So play the clip.
It is, you have a timestamp?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's in the link, dude.
Sorry. I'm looking at the video.
It's
I see. I see what you mean. Okay. Hang on.
Right. And I asked you, what's the delusion in question?
Oh, by the way, you won't be able to hear it.
Oh. Okay.
Hang on.
It's only like, I mean.
How many seconds do you want me to play, or minutes?
It's only like 30 seconds. After you correct Jack and you say that statement.
Okay, hang on.
That's what I want to get to.
Yeah, I'll play it for, you won't hear it, but I'll play it and the YouTube audience can hear it.
I asked you, what's the delusion in question, right? And you said they have the belief that they're women when they're really men. And I said, what is it to have the belief?
False. Jack, I got to stop you there. That's false. I never said that. I said male and female, not women and men.
Fine, whatever. Male and female. It makes a difference.
That's a huge distinction. That's a huge distinction.
Fine. It doesn't change anything.
Sure it does.
So,
that changes everything.
Look, I'll change the wording.
How many seconds do you want me to play? Because so far, everything I've said is exactly what I've said to you. And you agreed.
You corrected me. You said, I know I meant male or female. That's what you said, right? Did you get to that part?
Yeah. I played that. Yeah.
So the statement breaks down to, do you agree with this statement? They, as in trans people, have the belief, if they have the belief that they're a man, when they're really a woman, that's a delusion.
No, I never said that.
Sorry, when they're really a female, that's a delusion.
If they say they're male and they're female and vice versa, then that's a delusion, yeah.
Okay. But we just discussed on stream how you understand that they believe when they say they're a woman, they're talking about the social construct version, right? You get that, right?
Right.
So there's not a delusion in their heads. There's not any sort of contradiction in their heads.
Correct,
There's
Tuck.
a contradiction in your understanding using your definition.
Correct,
right?
Tuck.
Okay, so we agree. Good game.
So you noticed you were talking about women and men and not male and female just now?
Wait. Let's break down the statement again.
Oh my goodness.
Men that have the belief that they're female is actually a delusion, right? When they're actually male is a delusion, right?
Right.
That's your statement.
Right.
But the qualifier to that is you understand that when those people are saying that, they're talking about the social construct version.
They use the words women and men, not male and female.
Yeah, women and men in the social construct version. That
Yeah,
you understand,
I agree.
They understand.
Tuck.
That. So there's no contradiction there, Doug.
Correct.
Zero.
I never said there was.
Great.
I
So
never
we all agree.
Tuck,
We all
I never
agree
said
that
there
trans
was.
People are not delusional, right, Doug?
Tuck, I never said they were or that they.
Oh man, say it with me, Doug. Trans people are not delusional.
Some trans people are delusional, some are not. Just like some cis people are delusional, some are
What
not.
percentage of trans people are delusional?
You sound exactly like Tom Rabbit. I would say maybe 1%. I was a guess.
So what's the point in talking about the 1%, Doug?
Oh, so you just don't want me to talk about the 1%? Okay.
But you're just talking about that. All you do is when
1% of the
trans issues. You're just talking about the 1%.
Okay,
But
you're
you
just
never qualify
so
it.
you're mad that I'm talking about the 1%.
Okay, so why?
Why do you talk about billionaires? They're less than 1%.
When was the last time you mentioned that you were talking about the 1%, Doug? When was the last time you upfront honestly said, "Hey guys, I'm talking about the 1% here"?
Oh, you're mad at me that I'm actually hurting trans people by making it sound like they're all delusional.
No, you're being dishonest, Doug. That's what I'm annoyed about.
So I'm being dishonest by saying if a trans person says I am biologically female when they were born biologically male, I'm being dishonest by saying that that's crazy and delusional.
Yeah, when you generalize it to all trans people.
But I didn't.
And you're just talking about.
But
1%,
I didn't.
Yeah, you are being dishonest. Yeah, we just broke down. Anybody can watch the stream. How we just broke down how you're actually talking about 1% of trans people when 99% of trans people don't think that way. And you
correct. Well, I don't know if it's 99%, but correct.
Time, like talking about 1%, and you're
so
you're generalizing all this stuff to 99% of people have nothing to do with these delusional crazy.
Tuck,
people.
we got it. But let me ask you this: why are you so concerned about generalizations?
Because you just keep going on and on. It's embarrassing every time I go in the
Tuck,
stream. You're talking
what's
about
your main concern about?
What you're talking about?
You're upset with me that I'm not saying it's the 1%. Why does it upset you so much that it's perceived as a generalization?
It's not perceived. You just admitted that you've been generalizing, right? You've been
no. I just said the opposite. I said 1%. Hey,
did you or did you not qualify any of your statements about trans people with the fact that you're talking about 1%?
In that conversation, I did.
You think you did that in that conversation?
I said if they say this.
Back in another 10 minutes and show you wrong, Doug.
Oh my goodness, Tuck.
Do I need to come back in another 10 minutes?
Tuck, may I ask a question of you?
If we're gonna go into ad hominems or personal attacks, I'm not gonna answer anything.
No, it's a sincere question.
If I perceive it as an ad hom or personal attack, I'm not gonna answer it.
If you perceive it, well, I'm gonna ask you kindly to be stronger and tougher. Okay. My question to you is, okay, let's say I'm talking about a small minority percentage of a certain subset of the human population, let's say 1%.
Okay.
And
I thought you were gonna ask me about my job or something.
And
that's where you're gonna go with it.
No, I'm not. And I say, and I don't tell the public that I'm talking about 1%, but I make it that is not representative of the sample. But I do say that if a person says they're male when they were born female biologically, that's a delusion. And I say that. But I don't say, oh, by the way, 99% of trans people don't say this.
Right.
Does that bother you?
It's just really dishonest. I can't believe that you never say it.
Okay. It's dishonest.
It's super dishonest, Doug.
Okay. Very good. You believe it's dishonest.
It's very dishonest.
It's very dishonest, even though I haven't said anything false.
Have you ever heard of the concept of omitting the truth?
Okay, but here's the real question I'm asking you. Why is that, in your view, why is that type of dishonesty so bad?
Is this really weird? Do you
No,
really
I'm curious.
want to go down this path?
Yes, I do.
Do you really? I mean, like, come on.
So the fact I say something true, that if someone says they're male when they're born biologically female, that's a delusion. But I leave out by omission that this is not... Why is that so bad?
Yeah, because you're actually talking about 1% of the data.
Right.
99% of the data disagrees with you. It's just you're 99% wrong, Doug. That's how wrong you are.
No, the 99% agree with me, like including the trans people, that's delusional. So, but
you're talking about them. You put on them that generalization.
But my question to you, Tuck, and we don't have to be mean to each other or like hateful. I want to
say you're being dishonest then.
Because I wasn't.
Well, that's why I'm being mean. Because you keep saying, you're continuing to be dishonest.
Let me steel man you. You're saying I'm dishonest because I didn't say, from what I didn't say, not from what I did say, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now my question to you is, my question to you is, I'm even going to give it to you that's dishonesty, okay? Dishonesty by omission. I'm going to give it to you. But my question is, why is that so bad in your mind?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's because you're 99% wrong. That's why.
What do you mean I'm 99% wrong?
Because you've extrapolated 1% of the data to 99% of the data.
Is that
And that's just fallacious, Doug.
now, is that an assumption or is that truth?
Well, that's the data that we've agreed upon. If we can come back and another day.
No,
and we
are
can
you
break down
saying
the
that
real numbers.
no, Tuck, are you saying that I believe that the other 99% also are delusional?
I believe that you've generalized those statements to them many times.
But not in the
all trans people say that.
How
when
can you know that if
1% of trans people say that?
Tuck, how can you know that if it's a dishonesty by omission if I haven't said that?
What?
You said it's dishonesty by omission, yes?
Yeah, you're extrapolating 1% of the data.
How do you know
and
I'm
99% of the
extrapolating?
data, and because you're talking about you don't say, because we already agreed to this, Doug. You already agreed that you do not qualify these statements.
Okay, if I haven't qualified it,
about
how do you know I'm talking about and generalizing it to everyone?
Because you say trans people. That's how.
Okay, so have I said that trans people say that they're biologically female when they're biologically male? Have I ever said that?
Did you or did you not agree to the statement that we just discussed earlier?
I said that if a trans person says they're male when they're born biologically female, that's delusional. Agreed?
Yeah, a trans person. So you just said it. Doug.
If a trans person says that they were born male, biologically male, and they say they're biological female, that's delusional. Have I just said anything incorrect in your view?
What are we talking about, Doug?
We're talking about the clip.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, DMF.
I like the abbreviation. So, Doug, I want to ask you this. If you have a person who was born biologically male and they say to you, Doug, I am a woman, they don't bring up biological or anything, would you say that that person is delusional? They just say I'm a woman.
No.
Okay, I like that. I think one of the...
No,
well, I think
I'm consistent. I've said this time again.
No, you're not.
I have said that I think they have a false belief.
If I knew Tom Rabbit, I would try to contact him and get the video, but I don't. Maybe I'll try to send him a message.
I think, Tuck.
Maybe you can talk.
I'm not saying this,
right?
Tuck. I'm not saying this in a mean way, but I think you're so passionate about this issue that you can't hear me. I can say words and you're not listening to me.
All right, say them.
Okay, my words are that when I believe that most trans people, I'll even say most, have a false belief, in my opinion. That it's especially the self-ID people. The people say I'm trans because I have this internal experience. I believe that they have a false belief, but I do not call them delusional. Now, if a trans person says that I am biologically female when they were born biological male, then I do say they are delusional.
Okay, and if that's your position now, then we have no disagreement. But I do not believe that was your position back in the day. That was not the position that you were stating in that discussion with Jack, and it was definitely not the decision.
I'm going to see if I can play it right here, right now, so you can hear
Tom
it.
Rabbit.
Because the clip you provided for me, I think was a good one. Let's see if I can share it.
I wish I could hear it, because then I
I want to try to share it so you can hear it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because you'll hear with your own ears, hopefully, that what I just said to you, I said to, what's his name?
Jack,
yeah. There we go. Share.
Yeah, but you were conflating. The what he was saying with what you believe with what they believe.
Tell me if you can hear this. Right.
I asked you, what's the delusion in question, right? And you said they have the belief that they're women when they're really men. And I said, what is it to have the belief?
False. Jack, I got to stop you there. That's false. I never said that. I said male and female, not women and men.
Fine, whatever. Male and female. It makes a difference.
That's a huge distinction. That's a huge distinction.
Fine. It doesn't change anything.
Sure it does. So, that changes everything.
Look, I'll change the wording. Okay? Male, they're actually, they say they're females when they're actually males. And I said, well, what is it to believe that one is a female? And you said it's to believe that one has ovaries. Right?
Okay, so you could hear that, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that any different than what you and I were talking about just now?
No, but here's the problem, though.
No. Okay, you said no.
Well, you're not.
And we
you're not
agreed with each
yeah,
other.
Here's the problem, okay? Who do you think that you're talking about right there?
Who do I think I'm talking about?
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Tuck, I want to help you out because I'm on your side, and I hate to say this, Tuck, you are pushing me away from your side. Like, I don't think you're helping. I don't mean to be mean, but I think Doug is saying.
I'm not here to convince
True,
anybody.
I know, but I think to Steelman Doug, you're saying if a person believes they have ovaries and they do not have ovaries, they are delusional. Would that be accurate, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the problem with your side. Is when someone says female, they might be talking about secondary sexual characteristics. They might be talking about their place in society.
Yeah.
The way you take female is to be a person with ovaries or a person with XY chromosomes. And there is a fact of the world that you either have ovaries or not. Some people with XY chromosomes do not have ovaries.
Yeah.
I would still say they're female. But if a person has ovaries and believes they don't or do not, vice versa, then they are under a false idea.
Right.
I think it just gets messy with
I know.
language.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought this up. And Tuck, please be patient because I just want to say this. This is part of the bastardization of definitions because so many people in society have been told that gender is a social construct, but terms like male and female are not. These are scientific biological terms. So if what you're saying, DMF, is that if people are now saying that even the term female and male are social constructs, then where are we at? Like, what do we do at this point? If you can't say that someone claims to be female when they're born biologically male, if that now is a matter of definitions, then everything is a social construct and nothing is biological anymore. Nothing is, everything's up for a free-for-all, right?
My position really quickly, and then Tuck can have at and I can head out. But my position is gender is a social construct. There are facts of the world like your chromosomes. I don't even think we need to put things like male and female on chromosomes. It's a fact if you're XX, XY, XXY. It's a fact if you have ovaries. It's a fact if you produce large or small gametes. All of these things we've learned are basically over the last 100 years. For most of our existence, the idea of male, female, woman, man has been kind of how we view somebody. And people have definitely thought they have ovaries or don't and found out later they do not. There's a famous case in China of a woman, or yes, they were a woman. They found out when they found out they had ovarian cysts. So there's been a lot of issues with these nebulous terms we have. And I totally think gender is a social construct. Those are my views, Doug.
Yeah. Tuck, do you agree with me that if there's a difference between social constructs and biological terms, that difference has to stay? Like if you're going to claim that there's gender and then there's sex, but if now you're redefining the term sex, female, for example, to mean XY chromosomes, testicles, and a penis, if that means now female, now you've actually taken the concept of social construct and applied it to sex, correct?
No, I don't even know what you're trying to say there. Maybe
Well,
I just
okay, yeah,
misunderstood.
no, thank you for admitting that and asking a clarifying question, because I think this is very important. I've been told, and many people have been told, that there's a difference between sex and gender. Are you with me?
Yeah.
One's a social construct, gender. One is not, sex. Are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So now if a female says to me, someone born female, let's say we're not talking about intersex for now, okay? Just someone who's legitimately born female.
So in the biological sense.
In the biological sense, right? Says
What
to
do they
me,
identify as?
let's say they are trans, so let's say they identify as a man, okay? So
Okay.
so if a trans man says to me, who's born female, biological female, says to me that they are a biological male, now in order for me to say that makes any sense, I have to take the term, the biological terms male and female, and make that into some type of social construct. So
Yeah,
now
we all agree on
gender is a social construct and sex is a social construct.
Right. We all agree on that, and nobody takes
Okay.
the opposite position.
Tuck, thank you. We are all agreed on that, because that's the point I'm making in those discords. And any person, in my view, who says that gender is a social construct and sex isn't, and then claims to be a biological female when they were born a biological male, is delusional. And thank you, Tuck, for reminding me. I think very, very, very few trans people say that. But I talked to one the other day, Zoe, who did. So don't say nobody says this.
Well, you just talked to a Christian who rejected God and said you can sin all the time.
Sure, there's crazy
So-
people in the world. Trans people are not exempt from being crazy and delusional. Can you admit that, Tuck?
Here, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
Can you
Okay.
not? Okay,
Can you
Tuck.
let me
This is
talk?
important.
Can I talk?
No, this is my show.
All right, man. Well, I might just leave then.
No, I'll let you talk in a second. But my point is, I can say that not all trans people are delusional. Can you say some trans people are?
Yeah, and some humans are delusional, of course.
I need you to say some trans people are delusional. Can you say those words?
Yeah, some trans people, some humans, some,
You sound like me now.
Everybody, every group has a subset of which some number of
You
them
and I are the same, Tuck.
There's nothing. See, here's what I'm trying to get into your head today, Doug.
Okay.
Okay? Here's what I'm trying to cram into that noggin there. All right? It's that when you go into these discords and you say something like a spade is a spade, and like someone who believes something that is innately contradictory to what they're saying is contradictory, then nobody's going to disagree with you and nobody's going to care. And that's just what you've just done. Nobody cares about people who say that nobody cares about the person who isn't Napoleon, but also believes that they are Napoleon. Nobody cares about that because that person is delusional. He has a mental disorder.
I understand.
Hey,
Hey, Tuck.
subset of the population. This is what I'm trying to get into your head.
Yeah, I got it though, Tuck. I understand.
Tiny, tiny, tiny percent of the population.
Tuck, I understand your concern. I understand that from your perspective that, Doug, if this is what you really mean, I mean, everybody's going to agree with you. And I mean, except for the very small percentage. And so what's the big deal? But here's the thing. I think that percentage is growing and we need to snuff this out. Like, I think that the whole idea of gender construct versus biological is now melding together and it's growing and we need to stop this.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah. You know what I'm really worried about, Doug?
What?
I'm worried about those guys out there who are like, they believe that they're Napoleon, but they're not. And it's growing because you know what? Mental health disorders are growing. So the number of people who believe that they're Napoleon, but they're not, it's growing. And we need to snuff that out.
Okay, if that's true, what you said, we should, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
we're agreed
see
again.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug. I agree with you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in, Tuck.
Do you have any concept of what I'm getting at here?
Yeah, you're trying to make the case that it's not happening. Nobody thinks they're Napoleon.
Do you think I don't think that people think that they're Napoleon? You think I don't think that?
Okay, maybe you think one or two people do.
Uh-huh. What percentage of people do you think I think?
So the difference
are
between you
Napoleon?
and me right now is, from my listening to you, is you think that what I'm saying, it's not really growing that much and I'm blowing it out of proportion, right?
Oh, it might be growing a lot. You know, there's a lot of more Napoleons out there.
Right. You're using a certain argument to say, oh, Doug, it's not. That's your point, right?
We've already agreed that it's like 1% of the population at best.
Okay. Do you think that 1% of the population is wrong?
Yeah, I think that the Napoleons are wrong too.
Do you think when you see something that's wrong, that it's wrong to point it out that it's wrong?
That's right. And I'm going to make a YouTube channel devoted to talking about these people who believe that they're Napoleon, but they're not.
Okay. Do you think that's what I'm doing?
I think it's like 20% of what you're doing.
Oh, okay. And you think if you think it's just a waste of my time?
No, because you're making money off of it, right?
Oh,
So it's not a waste of your time.
Very little. You honestly think? Guess how much money I make per month off YouTube?
Oh no, I know you don't make much off of it.
Okay. Guess how much money I make per year doing other things?
Let's say you enjoy it. Maybe that's why.
Okay. So is it wrong for me to enjoy pointing out falsehoods?
No, that's fine.
Okay,
But
so
I
what's
can
the
make a
problem?
YouTube-
What's the
There's no
problem you
problem.
have with me then?
There's no problem. I'm going to make a YouTube channel about the people who believe that they're Napoleon now.
Okay,
You've inspired me.
okay, feel free if that's what you
Yeah.
enjoy.
I might just do that. Thank you, man.
You're welcome, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, what would I do without you, Doug?
I don't know.
All right, man. Well, I do appreciate you not muting me or like kicking me or something.
Yeah, and I let you talk, right? I know there was a time there where I wanted to
okay.
finish something, but it is my channel, and I like to pride myself that I let my guests talk more than I do. But I think this time it was closer to 50-50, so
I think it was fair.
yeah, it was
I think
fair.
you're a fair host, and that's why I'm subscribed. I'm still subscribed to you, Doug, and I'll still watch you,
Okay.
even though I disagree with you about this. I hope you
We
start
agreed on it.
qualifying. I hope you start qualifying some of your statements with "I'm talking about 1% of trans people" from now on.
You still
Will you do
did.
that
You
for
still
me,
did. You still didn't. I
Will
can,
you do that for me?
Yes, I can try to do that more, but I want to be honest with you, Tuck. It's very difficult when you do 3-hour live streams to qualify everything you say.
Well, maybe just put it in the description or something.
But here's my take on you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think
Go
you
ahead.
want me to qualify, especially on the trans topic, because you feel sorry for trans people and you
No.
want to support the trans community. Am I wrong?
No, I actually don't know any trans people.
Okay, then why is this? If the trans community is only 1% of the population or 2% of the population, why do you care if I qualify the trans issue so much?
Because you're extrapolating 1% of the data to 99%
So what?
of the data. And all I wanted to show was how you're wrong about that. That was my goal today.
But I'm not
Can I-
wrong about
can
it.
I- Doug, can I interject here? Because Tug, you're actually getting on my nerves a little bit with this, because I care about the
Cool.
trans issue because of laws like in Oklahoma where they're promoting conversion therapy. I care about what's happening with the laws in our society and the discourse around these laws. And if you don't have the care related to that, I don't know why you're speaking so strongly on these topics and so passionately. I do agree. I do care that you are an advocate for transgender people, but I'm slightly worried that you're so passionate, yet your care seems to be just in arguing.
I'm not an advocate for anybody. I'm just here to show how Doug's wrong. I'm not here to
Well,
state any other statement other than that.
maybe stop talking about this topic if your only point is to show Doug's wrong.
No, there's plenty of debates that are 100% focused on just showing how the other person's wrong. And I showed how Doug was wrong and how he extrapolated from 1% of the data to 99% of the data. And that's about it. I'm not here to advocate for any position whatsoever.
You
Well,
know,
there's more.
You know, Tuck, I have the ability and the power to chop this live stream up and make shorts from it. And I just
That's fine.
10, 15, 20 minutes ago, I have you on record saying you agree with me on several times. And even on the whole issue of extrapolating 1% to the 99. Because you said, well, I didn't say that. It was by omission. It's people, the listener might think that's what I'm saying, even though I actually didn't say that. You admitted that to me. So what you're talking about is dishonesty of not saying something, not that I actually said something that was false. What your concern is, and tell me if I'm wrong, is because I didn't say, by the way, everyone, a very small fraction of people believe this. So don't extrapolate this to the 99%, because Doug is not saying that 99% of trans people believe this. He's saying only a small fraction. Because I did not say that and make it abundantly clear, this is what really bothers you. And my question is why?
I wasn't really listening.
You weren't really listening.
Nah, sorry. But I did catch that part where you said you were gonna cut it up and make it sound dishonest. So that kind of just confirms
Tuck,
my.
did I
idea
say
that you're
that?
dishonest.
That I can cut it up and make you sound dishonest? What I meant is I can cut it up in a way to show that you agreed with me, you agreed with me, you agreed with me, and then at the end you say, I just showed you were wrong. I can put all those true things that are not misrepresenting you at all. I can put them side by side. You saying, I agree with you, Doug. I agree with you, Doug. I agree with you, Doug. But Doug, you're wrong. What am I wrong about?
Yeah, you're wrong. You still don't get it. I'm there's no point even talking about it because you still don't get it. You don't even get the point. Why don't you steel man me and make my point for me? because I don't think you can do it.
I'll steel man you again. The problem you have is you agree with me that if a person says who's born biologically male says they're biologically female, that's delusion. You agree with me. But your point is that it's such a small, tiny fraction of the population. And because of by omission, what I didn't say, it leads the listener to believe that I'm talking about all trans people, even though I haven't said that. And so this is your problem. Have I steel-manned you?
No.
Okay. In 1 or 2 sentences, like what I just did, I did that in what, 15 seconds? Can you say where you think I'm wrong?
I would just say that you just said that you weren't specifying whether you're talking about 1% or 99% of trans people, right? That's what you're saying. And I'm saying that by not specifying that, most people are going to take that to mean the larger number of the two.
That's what I just said, Tuck.
Okay.
I just said that. I did steelman you.
All right. Okay. Then we agree on that steelman issue. So what is it that you don't get about that?
I do get it. That's why I steelmanned you correctly, Tuck.
Okay. So explain it to me why you.
This is.
Sorry, I'm just trying to download.
This is insanity.
Doug, you ever with your kids, you have a conversation and it just seems to go in circles and they ask the same questions?
I don't know if Tuck is not listening. It sounds like he's.
I'm not really listening. I was just trying to do something in the background. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you're saying trans people, right? You're generalizing, right? But that's people are going. So you admit that when people are going to hear you say trans people this, trans people that, they're going to assume you're talking about the 99%, right?
They may, but smart. I would say, and I'm being sincere here. Smart, reasonable people will not make that assumption. They will ask me, Doug, are you saying that all trans people? A smart person will ask that.
Do you think Jack's a smart person?
I think he's mentally ill, severely.
Oh, do you think Tom Rabbit's a smart person?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I might, if you could talk to Tom and get that first clip, we can discuss
and Tom,
go over
and Tom did exactly what I said. He asked me, and I'm on the record of saying most trans people are not delusional. And he wanted to win some points, and so he tried to nail me down on an exact percentage, but nobody knows.
But Tom and Jack, both, according to you, they don't understand what you're saying, right? Because you had to explain it to them.
No, Tom understands. Jack probably doesn't.
No, I mean like when you first came to them and you said trans people this, trans people that.
Well, that's because
Tom
they
and
hate
Jack
me.
said,
When people hate another person, I'm being sincere here.
Now it's because they hate you.
No.
Delusional. So Jack's mentally ill, and then now it's they hate you.
Well, both for Jack's case.
Okay.
By the way, Tuck, do you know Jack?
No, but I've seen that documentary where he said he pushed down the woman. So yeah, I mean, he probably is mentally ill.
Yeah,
at some level.
I'll make this claim publicly that he's severely mentally ill, and that's my default position until I have evidence to the contrary. But
he's stupid though.
No, true, he's not stupid. But my point that I was saying, Tuck, that if someone really, and I'm not saying this about you, but if someone really, really hates me, I mean, despises me, it is harder for them to hear the words coming out of my mouth. And anything I say, they will take the worst possible interpretation. Why? Because they hate me. They despise me. So, and I think, I'm not saying you hate me, Tuck, but I think a little bit of that is happening with you right now. There's probably a bit of pride in you too, that you want to win an argument. There's probably that going on. But again, I can take what you have said to me of us agreeing, and then you say, and you're wrong, Doug.
Yeah, because we're talking about two different things there. Like, that's just being dishonest if you edited those together.
Okay.
Because we're not talking about the same thing.
I think we are.
Okay, well, anybody, I mean, I hope you upload the whole stream.
Well, it's live streaming. It's automatically uploaded.
Well, you can delete the live stream after it uploads.
Oh, yeah, I could, but I won't.
Okay. Well, then people will be able to see the whole context, and they'll see that.
Yeah.
What happened and what
people can make up their own mind on whether you think
whether
you won, Tuck, or Doug won.
I don't care who won.
Okay,
I'm just trying
to
put this into your head so you understand where the people
See,
like
DMF
are coming from.
You be my witness, DMF. Didn't Tuck just say earlier that he wanted to come on and just prove me wrong?
I believe so, and I'd love to give my thoughts on this, but I don't want to interrupt. I want to.
Yeah. So Tuck, you
No, I
lose.
agree with that statement. but I didn't
Tuck,
say I
you
was
lose
gonna
credibility when you say things like, "I don't want to win," but one of your goals of coming on here. In fact, DMF asked you point blank, "What's your goal to come on here?" I think he asked that, and you said to show Doug wrong, which implies you want to win, right?
Wait a second. Do you think winning and being right or wrong are the same thing?
Yeah. When it comes to argumentation, yeah.
Oh, well, that's your interpretation. That's not mine.
Okay, so you don't want to win, but you do want to
It's
prove me
not about
wrong.
winning or losing. I just wanted to show how you're wrong about this. That's all.
Okay.
Anyways, man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
See ya.
You should do a quick poll in your chat. Like, was Tuck convincing? Yes, no, maybe, or if you want. I'd be interested to hear what they thought.
Well, my live stream chat's probably biased.
I might just troll you, but go ahead. Your thoughts?
No, you've listened to me and Tuck for a while. What do you have to say?
I have a lot of issues with that. I started off kind of listening to Tuck and hearing his points that you might be making broad generalizations, which could be warranted.
By the way, you got about 2 minutes left or 5 minutes left. Yeah.
You clarified and were not said, hey, look, if I made it sound this way, I didn't mean to. Here's my exact position. You seem to clarify with me. I have some slight disagreements with you, and you and I are not in complete unison. But then Tuck seemed to just dig in and really wanted to nail down this point. But you said this one time, but it seemed you said this. And it just reminded me of talking to a 10-year-old who you're just like, look, the conversation's over, and they just bring it back up, and you just have to say, go to your room.
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, it was interesting. I could see he got you more excited than I ever get you, Doug. I need to bring something fiery.
I do get triggered from stupid people.
Oh, well, thank you.
So you're not stupid.
Well, it's always a pleasure getting to say hey to you, but I'm glad we disagree and can disagree civilly. Maybe one of these days I'll lower my IQ and we can have some fiery debate. So
yeah. Well, it's just like when someone comes on and makes claims of me being dishonest. Yeah, it's just like it takes a lot of stupidity to go on someone's show and say something like that.
I think, really quickly on this, you look at, I think it's Andrew Wilson. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. His debate with Destiny, where he just dishonestly would not give any positions and also seemed to have the inability to understand what an insurrection was and how Destiny had defined it. I don't think you would have done that. I think you would have agreed with certain points. You would have offered alternative explanations, and there could have been a real conversation. And I think that's why I like you, even though I disagree with you. And you might even agree more with Andrew Wilson more than you agree with me. But I like you more than Andrew Wilson because you'll say what you think. You'll give your real position. You won't hide it. You're not scared. You're not triggered.
Yeah. Well, I've been meaning to actually review that video. I've seen parts of it, but anyhow.
I think, let me end with this with you. Let me say this. You should contact Destiny. You should do some sort of debate.
Did you see the short I made about him?
I did.
The Jeopardy one?
It's fun. You did a good edit on the Jeopardy, but thank you, Doug, for having me on. I'll let you go.
Okay, see ya.
See ya.
In fact, I want to play that short. I'm proud of that short. It actually took me more time than most shorts I make. But it seems like some. This is for you, Tuck. I'm going to qualify it. A very small percentage, 1% of the far left will do this. But it seems like people like Destiny have a one-track mind, and all they can think about, Trump, January 6th, Trump. And so what I did is I made this short.
The final Jeopardy answer.
That highlights that point. So I had to take old footage from an old Jeopardy show where the question was a calendar date. And everybody knows where it's going, but it's funny.
The final Jeopardy answer is calendar date with which the 20th century began. Good luck. All right, time's up. Let's find out who today's winner is going to be. Or your question was, what is January 1st, 1900? How much did you risk on that incorrect question? All of it. You wind up with nothing. Let's see what Destiny thought the correct final Jeopardy question was. What is January 6th, 2021? Sorry, that is wrong. How much did you wager? Did you go for the whole bundle? Oh boy. What?
As well, it's the lack of responsibility for January 6th. It's the lack of responsibility for the Gretchen plot. Do you think J6 was a false flag? They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th. They say that the election was stolen and that your country has been taken from.
The final Jeopardy.
Yeah, it seems like that's all Destiny can think about. He's one-track mind. I don't know if Destiny and I would talk about it, because I agree that it was unethical. Trump shouldn't have done it. But I also believe, like I would ask Destiny, how many September 11th equals 1 January 6th? 4? 5? Like you got to put things in perspective at some point. How many Pearl Harbors equals 1 January 6th? 4? 5? And if January 6th was successful, what would have happened? What would have been the huge downside? Lose our democracy. Yeah, but what's so bad about that? Articulate it for me. You start asking questions like this to Destiny and see what he would say. Like, does Destiny actually believe that Trump is going to round up people on buses, bring them into concentration camps and kill them? Does Destiny actually believe that if Trump wins, that 5 years from now he'll still be in power? No, I don't think he believes that. Thanks, Vergate Spy. Yeah, if I was willing to do more work, I think I could have found a clip of Destiny in front of a green screen, and then I could have made it look more real. But you get the point. Michael Smith says, the last dude on some of the craziest shit I've heard in a while. Heard in a minute. Yeah, there's certain discords where I am hated, and I'll use the word hate. I am hated so much, it's next to impossible for them to hear me. And with Jack, and I've said this before, with Jack, I won't give him anything because of the way he treats me. Like, he hates me. He dislikes me strongly, I'll put it this way. He likes it when I beat up on Christians, but he doesn't like it when I say anything challenging to the trans issue. How was January 1, 1900 not the beginning of the 20th century? Your boy Daniel, I can explain it to you. How many years are in a century? 100. So if the ending of the century is December 31st, 2000, when do you have to start it to have 100 years? Answer, 1901. January 1st, 1901. Think of it, imagine it in decades. 1901, 1910, 1920, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. No. 1901, 1910, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000. 100 years. The first full year of 1901 counts as your starting point, not the zero. Does it make sense? I didn't explain that well. But subtract 100 years from December 31st, 2000, and you get January 1st, 1901, not 1900. Now, if the social construct, see how I tied trans? I mean, trans is on my mind. The social construct is that the starting is at 1, ending as at 00. If it was at the ending is 99, then the answer would be January 1st, 1900. I got to talk about trans because the percentage of trans in this live stream is going down as we're talking about centuries. So let's get this back on topic, shall we, people? PineCreek, is there something that could make you change your voting intentions? What are some markers? Great question, dude. Excellent question. And to me, this is the most valuable question. So what I value are things like personal responsibility. Role of government should be minimal. For example, the role of government is not to be your mommy and daddy. I don't believe the role of government is to even necessarily feed, clothe, house, and educate you. This is what I value. I think the private sector does a better job at that. Also, issues of immigration. I think a sovereign nation needs tight, closed borders, and you, as much as possible, let people in that you have vetted to live in this country and potentially become citizens. So that's very important to me. Foreign affairs. I think the United States has screwed up so many other countries in the past, and they will continue to we will continue to probably screw up countries in the future. So it's best we minimize, not totally, but minimize our involvement in foreign nations and protect our borders first. I think the U.S. citizen has precedent over an immigrant in terms of benefits and that sort of thing. So those are my markers. Another issue, current issue in 2024. Oh, they got to keep my 20% here. The trans issues, the critical theory stuff. So if a Democrat came out, if Harris, for example, came out and said, I'm all for personal responsibility, and African Americans, a lot of you, not all of you, but a lot of you, the state you're in is not because of systemic racism. It's because the mistakes that you personally have made and in your family and culture, and you need to smarten up and stop it. That would get my attention if Harris said that. If Harris said, and Harris has said, by the way, don't come. But if Harris said, I'm going to take troops out of Japan, South Korea, and Germany and put them all along the southern border, and I don't care if there's a young child and a family at the border, if they're trying to cross the line in the sand, that's not a port of entry, I'm going to command the troops to take their hands and push them back. They cannot cross that line, and then the troops will say, go to the port of entry that way. If Harris was to say that, she would get my attention. If Harris were to say, Israel can take care of itself, Ukraine can take care of itself, and if they can't, they're going to lose to Russia. That's their problem, not ours. Have my attention. Oh, another issue is climate change. If Harris were to say, I'm going to open up the Keystone Pipeline, I'm going to have more nuclear power, she would have my attention. What else? Oh, if Harris were to say, get up in front of the camera and say, I'm not your mommy. The government's not your daddy. Your goal, our goal as a government, is to stay out of your way, to minimize the taxes as much as we can, so you can be the best version of yourself. That when you run into problems, you go to your mommy, your real mommy and daddy, you go to your real family, you go to your real neighbors, your real community, your real state, and you come to me, the Harris-Walz administration, last. Don't expect us to come to you first. Then you combine all those things, I've named at least 5 markers there, then Harris-Walz would have my vote. Although the Republican side could say the exact same thing, so then I would have to figure out who's more likely to do it. But if the Republicans didn't say all those things and the Harris-Walz said all those things. But what I'm describing is compassionate capitalism. Those markers basically are that. And from what I'm hearing, Harris would never say something like that. Harris could never look at a protected class of citizenry, a minority, and say, hey, you know what? Some of the things in your life are your fault. And don't ask the government to bail you out. Get better, get stronger. You think Harris would ever say that to a minority? No. She would talk about equity. It's not fair. Systemic racism. Oh, no, she would do her cackle. Whatever she does. But great question. Those are my markers. Oh, I got more markers I didn't talk about. But that's enough to get started. how long have I been going? 2 hours, 30 minutes. I don't think the U.S. basketball game is over by now. Oh, no, maybe not. No, it's still going. And I haven't watched it yet. Anybody who says the score of the U.S. Olympic basketball game in the live stream chat is banned for life. You can call me dishonest in a live stream, but don't give me that score. See, now that I even mentioned it, someone's going to do it. Now I can't even look at the stream. I got to keep my eyes forwards now. So I got to close up before someone makes me very, very upset. How do we sum up this live stream? I would sum it up with love, hugs, cuddles, so if you're new here, first time watching one of my live streams, I guarantee you there's many things I've said that you strongly disagree with. And I guarantee you there's some things you agreed with. And I just want to say, the things you disagreed with me on, you're wrong. Kidding, that's a joke. Relax. Had a King James Version guy on, but he was a troll. Maybe. I wish all liberals could be like the guy who came on with Tuck. I actually have no problem with classical liberals. My problem is with woke progressives. Too much feel sorry for them. Nothing blinds more than compassion. If I wanted to prevent someone from knowing the truth, I'd inject them with tons of compassion. Have a great weekend, everyone. Poof.